Tymiński, the CEO of CI Games, the company behind Lords of the Fallen, has taken to X to let everyone know that the subreddit r/Lords of the Fallen has been taken over by mods that are, let's be honest, heavily lefty lunatics that think that anyone that disagrees with their ideologies is a fascist. And I wish I was joking. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. This complete unhinged rant from a mod in the subreddit for the CEO's game has banned the CEO because the CEO, Marek Tymiński, dared ask the audience, the gamers themselves, what they wanted the games to have and not have in them. What? Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Marek Tymiński, the CEO of CI Games, has taken to X to let everybody know that the subreddit for his game r/Lords of the Fallen has been hijacked by the mods themselves, branding the CEO as a fascist for daring to ask the player base how he can make the games better, and giving them polls to answer and choosing things and going with the direction that the gamers wanted. It's really that simple and that crazy. Marek Tymiński, the CEO of CI Games, has just exposed how Reddit moderators have hijacked the Lords of the Fallen subreddit, branding him as a fascist simply for daring to listen to the players, asking for feedback on the game. Now, I've been following Marek for a little while now, and I've noticed on his X, from time to time, he will share some polls and asking questions for the players that are playing his game and how he can improve them and what the players want the game to have in it, what they don't, and let the democracy, the majority rule, and try to move forward with that. Which, I mean, hey, it's his game. He's welcome to do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to ask the community for help, he can ask the community for help. If he wants to do it himself and say it's art, you can buy my game, he can do that too. I don't really see what the problem is here, but we're talking about Reddit mods here, and logic with them is a fleeting trait. Yet another demonstration of Reddit's rapidly growing lunatic left-wing authoritarianism, the subreddit's mods have now taken some seriously extreme measures to shut down any discussion that doesn't align directly with their ideological echo chamber of a bubble worldview. Their latest meltdown was triggered when Tymiński made a simple post on X asking if the community preferred traditional character options, something he posts about from time to time on his platform to gauge player interest. Choosing between male and female rather than the generic body type A and body type B was apparently a bridge too far for these Reddit mods, and unsurprisingly, the vast majority of players were obviously voting for the change back to male-female. But rather than accept the will of the player base, Reddit mods went absolutely nuclear and completely locked down the subreddit. Instead of acknowledging that gamers want clearer and more traditional character options without any kind of DEI injected into the gaming experience, the mods of Lords of the Fallen immediately framed this as a far-right conspiracy, because of course they did. It's the same old tried and true formula that hardcore lefty lunatics always do. They always try to brand people as a fascist, or someone that's a bigot, or a phobe of some type, just to try to cancel the person and try to get people on board with the hate mob campaign against them because they don't align with the ideologies of them. On r/Lords of the Fallen that is now under lockdown, they say, announcement, addressing the CEO of CI Games' politically motivated agenda. Direct links to X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are no longer permitted. The CEO of CI Games, Marek Tymiński, is actively supporting and promoting fascist ideology under the guise of catering to the player base. As a moderation team, along with many gamers worldwide, we are deeply shocked and disgusted by the events of the past few weeks. And holy crap, does this not perfectly exemplify power going to the head of some loser in their basement as a Reddit mod and saying, I know what's best for the world, why doesn't everyone just listen to me? In response, we have removed all CI Games and Hexworks officials from the moderation team. However, we want to make it clear that those removed are honorable and decent individuals, and we have nothing but respect for them. every interaction we've had with them since the game's launch has been nothing short of extraordinary. Unfortunately, this decision affects the wrong people. Our concerns are directed solely at the CEO and, at this time, no one else. Which, I gotta be honest, just reading that part, it screams someone that is going completely batshit insane on a power trip trying to tell the world that they know what's best and they are wielding this Reddit power to the absolute extreme. And from a certain perspective, it's actually very comical. Over the past several weeks and months, we have seen a significant increase in hate speech, misconduct, and violations of Reddit whenever content from these platforms is shared. Additionally, we have experienced an influx of users spreading fascist views, both on the subreddit and via mod mail. Let us be clear, we do not tolerate any violations of our quote-unquote behavioral rules, nor do we condone or support fascist ideology. Anyone engaging in such misconduct will face a permanent ban. You can find out our subreddit's rules here or in the sidebar. And from that, I gotta take a big step back and say, all right, I'll try to go along with you here. So Marek is now pushing fascist ideologies, and that's what the issue is. Why don't you provide examples? Why don't you say, hey, what he said here specifically is what we have an issue with, or this poll right here is what the problem is and here's why. They can't do that because at the end of the day, they know the only problem is it goes against their own ideology, so they just start calling Marek Tymiński names. The mods didn't stop at just labeling the CEO as fascist because that would be way too simple. No, they took the drastic actions of locking down the entire subreddit and censoring any further discussion. It continues. What about screenshots from these platforms? After consideration, we have decided not to allow screenshots from these platforms, as verifying their authenticity is difficult. What's next? These new rules take effect immediately. Alternative to X, Twitter? Blue Sky is a great alternative, and many users and outlets have already made the switch. You already know where this is going, where they're trying so hard to indoctrinate people that don't know any better to think that these other platforms are where the truth is, when in reality, anybody that's been paying attention to what's transpiring right now is noticing that all the lefty lunatics are migrating over to Blue Sky and creating their own echo chamber over there into some mess of a situation that nobody with any kind of logical common sense wants anything at all to do with. If you have any suggestions for improving this process, feel free to share them in the comments or via mod mail. Additionally, if any moderators from other subreddits would like access to the auto moderator scripts we've written, we are happy to share them. Simply contact us via mod mail. They want to use the scripts they've created and push this on other Reddit forums to push their own ideologies and create an echo chamber in other forums as well, which is just wild to me that they think this is something that's going to fly and people will be cool with. Which, spoiler alert, it's not. In fact, it's actually hysterical to look at some of the replies in the comment thread and how the mods are being called out by Redditors. You know you really effed up if people on Reddit are calling you out for being too over the top against people. This is actually hysterical. Banning all direct links on X, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, claiming these platforms enable fascism. They removed CEI Games and Hexworks officials from the mod team, despite admitting that they were honorable and decent individuals, declared an increase in hate speech while using the justification for stricter moderation, and pushed users towards Blue Sky, a left-wing alternative to Twitter, as the better platform. I swear, I couldn't make this up if I tried. It's beyond parody at this point, but at the same time, is anyone surprised? It's Reddit. They declared that Tymiński was boosting anti-progressive and racist/transphobic posts by asking people what he wants in the games. They accuse him of pushing a politically motivated agenda. and it's a classic tactic that they try to deplatform anybody who opposes their woke ideology. This unhinged response wasn't just about simple in-game UI changes, it was directly attempting to control a narrative and gatekeep what opinions are allowed in what game spaces, which at the end of the day, with these people, they're all the same. It's not about gaming, it's not about making the games better, it's about power and control and ensuring that people conform. They probably weren't a big fan of Marek Tymiński saying that he's not going to be injecting any DEI elements in his games either. That definitely didn't go over well. The steps that they're taking here reflect a growing trend of many extremist Reddit mods weaponizing their online internet powers to silence any and all dissent. They outright claim that their motivation is ideological, saying, people are feeling emboldened on the culture war stuff since Trump got in. The fact that they're still seething about Trump's influence years after the presidency started back when he first got elected tells me everything we need to know about their worldview. Rather than trying to moderate fairly, they've turned the Lords of the Fallen subreddit into a political minefield echo chamber. They claim to be protecting the community from misinformation and incitement of violence, but in reality, they're just banning any conversation that challenges their progressive orthodoxy. The real irony here, this is a so-called fascist CEO that was merely trying to follow the wishes of his own player base. I've had some personal DM conversations with Marek over X for the past few months, and he's always struck me as someone who's genuinely caring about the gaming scene and the gamers themselves. He comes across as very sincere, and he's not trying to use people as some sort of Trojan horse to try to get additional sales. It explains exactly why his Reddit mod sees this as well, and now they see him as the enemy because he's a problem. The in-game changes aren't dictated from the top. It was voted on by tens of thousands of gamers, but according to these lunatic Reddit mods, democracy is only valid when it aligns with their own personal worldview. Funny how that works. The entire situation highlights once again how Reddit has become an increasingly hostile place for any kind of free speech or open discussion. Moderators, who are often unaccountable and completely unhinged, have zero problems with seizing control of communities and pushing their own personal agenda for the message. And hey, as long as it aligns with their ideologies, there are no problems with it. But once you start stepping out of line, they gotta make sure they shut you down. So use this as a heads up if you're a player of Lords of the Fallen to be very aware of r/Lords of the Fallen. It is compromised, but then again, it's Reddit, and we already know the type of people that go there every day, and it's already an echo chamber, but hey, I just want to give a heads up about this happening in the first place. But I'd like to encourage everyone, if you haven't played this game, to check it out to see if it might be right for you, because overall, it has had a great reception with the entire player base. I'm all about promoting any and all developers that are authentic to the gamers, and Marek Tymiński strikes me just as that. The subreddit itself has completely lost the plot and is no longer even about discussing the game itself. It's about enforcing leftist politics and attacking anyone who steps out of line. Tymiński, on the other hand, has proven himself, to me at least, to be one of the few and rare game industry CEOs that's willing to stand up for us, the gamers. While the Reddit mods are out there ranting about fascism, the actual gamers are out here enjoying the game that respects their own preferences. As for Reddit, it's just another reminder of why its credibility is completely circling the drain. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash J.